Paolo! Gascoigne going to have a crack. He is, you know. Oh, I say!
Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Yes, good morning. The morning after, the day before, the night before. One of those two things is true. Both of those two things are true. Isn't it lovely being a Tottenham Hotspur fan today? Before we start talking about Tottenham, big up to the Lionesses. Just kicked off. They're 3 minutes into the game. The World Cup final. Can they do the double? They've done the Euros. Can they now add the World Cup to it? So big up to Weidman and the Lionesses. Go on, the girls. Let's see if they can bring that home. Tottenham Hotspur, people. Tottenham Hotspur. I think, I'm just going to put it out there. I think, and big up to every single one of you, by the way. There's now already 250 of you in here. Smash that like button. Pay your way as you come in. That's all you got to do. Smash the like button. It is free. Somebody messaged me yesterday and said, oh, by the way, just so you know, some people might think when you ask for likes and subscribers that they're paying. You're not paying. It's just a click of a button. I think that some people will definitely owe Big Ange some apologies during this season. A lot of haters throughout the summer. A lot of haters throughout this summer. Big Ange, he's coming from Celtic. He's never done it in a top league. Why are we getting him? Our fifth choice. I'll tell you what. Goes to show, doesn't it? If you are a man-to-man manager, hang on, England here. Oh, sorry, I thought England were about to score, but poor shot in the end. If you are a man-to-man manager, a woman-to-woman manager, whatever you want to call it, and you can get people playing their best, and you can implement a philosophy that makes the group dynamic exciting and happy and a nice place to be, it goes to show, doesn't it? Look at the difference from our two games already compared to anything we watched the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. What a breath of fresh air Ange Postecoglou is. Players that we were told, these guys, you can't play any better football with these guys. You can't do it. It's not Conte's fault. Yeah, it was. It's the style of football. You want to play that style of football, that's what you're going to get. If you want people to sit 10 men behind the ball, try and defend for their lives when they can't, that's what you're going to get. When you get the players playing like yesterday, in the other half, high energy, pressing, attacking, allowed to go forward, that's what you get. It's a good riddance to Antonio Conte is what I say. Big up to everyone. I just want to say a massive thank you. I didn't really, obviously with match day, it kind of got lost a bit in translation. Thank you so much to everybody that has subscribed in the last year and it's not a year and a half, just under a year and a half. Thank you so much for helping me get over the 10,000 mark. I'm not going to do a special show about it or anything. I don't see the point. It is what it is. I've hit 10K. We move forward, but thank you to each and every one of you. It is much appreciated. I enjoy doing this. I hope you enjoy it. So thank you very much. If anyone would like to smash that subscribe button to keep it going, to keep it moving forward, then it is in the chat and it is pinned in the chat, or it will be in about 15 seconds. It will be pinned in the chat. So for anyone that would like to subscribe that hasn't already, let's do that. Let's get to 11K. Hey, should we just get to 11K as quickly as possible? Where to start on yesterday's game? Where to start? First of all, we got a super chat from George Raffis, who has said, morning, mate. Hope you're good. Buzzing off yesterday. The stadium was electric. Congratulations on 10K. Yeah, the stadium looked electric. It's amazing that the manager can do this in such a short space of time. Who would have said, here you go. Thank you so much, George. Really appreciate your support. You've been there from day one. So thank you so much, George. Really appreciate it. I'm going to ask the question, and I'll say hello to a few people in a minute. Who at the beginning of the window would have said that we would have made 4 points from Brentford away, Man United at home? Hands up. Who was saying it? 4 points. Not many. I'm pretty sure not many were. We're going to go through the players in a minute, one by one. Have a look at their game yesterday. But first of all, let's concentrate on, let's see who's in the chat. So big up to Ian. He's always in the chat. Big up to you, Ian Satwick. Big up to Danny. I'm not going to read comments out. I'm just going to say hello to people for a minute and then I'll get some comments in a bit. Big up. Morning, Kate. Hope you're well. All well, my end. Thank you so much. Balpinder, who won our competition yesterday. Big up to Balpinder. Big up to Spurs. GC TV, who went to bed happy last night. Big up to the Heritage Henry Ports Show. Fair enough. I mean, I've seen worse names for me. Big up to Tigaro, the single parent theory. Big up to you, my friend. Hope you are well. Perchy, beggar to no. Only I'm allowed to say bad things to Perchy. Big up to Kuva99, who is going to be joining us in 5 minutes or just under 5 minutes. So if you're not going to smash the like and subscribe for me, smash the like and subscribe for Kuva99. Kuva99 in the house. We love Kuva. SA8 said he went for 6 points. El Dante, thank you. Always a massive supporter of the channel. Who said, Coys. Big up, Savva. Great start. It's just lovely. I feel back in love with my club. And I always loved Spurs, but I think everyone will forgive me and they'll know what I mean. I really, really, really fell out of wanting to watch us play for a good few years. I always did watch us play, but it just wasn't fun. And now seeing us under Postecoglou is just amazing. I think I called him in for the show tonight. By the way, the Spurs review at 8 p.m. tonight. Got a great show tonight for you. We've got myself, Sean from Spurs Talk Show. We've got Perchy from Perchy TV. And we've got Marlon and Haz from Southview Coys. And I have said thank you to Postecoglou. Postecoglou. Postecoglou, fraudulent slip. Big up to Gold K, who's in the house. Just said, Savva. Big up to you. Matthew Lumsden's in the house. Darius went with 6. Listen, nothing wrong with aiming high. I'm very happy with the 4 points. And I want to see us kick on now and take Brentford on. Chris Sperrin, big up to you. It's a congratulations on 10K. Well deserved. You have put a proper shift in. I always will put a proper shift in for you guys. Don't you worry. Alfred, congratulations. Savva, honest man. Thank you. I try my best. Gavin Bailey's here as well. So congrats. Well deserved for the hardest working man on YouTube. Listen, you've got to put the graft in. If ever you're starting a business or starting a channel or starting anything, you've got to put the graft in at the beginning. Kieran said, we attacked and played possession football most of the game and kept a clean sheet. I know they had a couple of good chances, but still, listen, Kieran, I don't think we're ever going to get to the stage where teams don't have chances. Fabrizio Romano also posted something about Spurs earlier. I'm going to try and find it for you. Just quickly, so Sergio Dest, before we look at yesterday's game, Sergio Dest has left Barcelona to join PSV. What else has happened? Tyler Adams has signed for Bournemouth. It's official now. Here we go. Pochettino said Romelu Lukaku's situation was clear before I arrived between the clubs and the player. For us, there's nothing to do. Okay, take what you want from that. Josip Sutalo has gone to Ajax, a verbal agreement of 21 million euros. Lots of people talking about him. And then this is what I wanted to show you, that Fabrizio Romano has said overnight. So bear with me 1 second. Fabrizio Romano said this. Let me remove that comment. Has said Tottenham received more than 4 approaches. 4 approaches this summer for Papa Matar. Despite strong interest in the talented midfielder, the club considered him untouchable since day one. Ange Postecoglou rates Sarr as a top talent and didn't want to give the green light on a loan deal. I mean, makes sense, right? Makes sense. Big old Fab coming in with the news afterwards. And by the way, the other thing as well, for anyone that cares, you've seen you all know what I think of Lionel Messi. You've seen my video where he's scoring the goal. And as Fabrizio Romano said there, Lionel Messi has now become the most decorated player in football history with 44 titles to his name. Who else? Who better than to have that record than the greatest player the world has ever seen? Big up to Lionel Messi. Right, where to start? Denver has said, me as an Arsenal fan was confident that Ange is the best signing you lot have made in years, to be honest. Yeah, Denver, I'll be interested to see all the people that were giving this guy stick. Lots of people were giving this guy stick. Oh, you got him. He's a fraud. Look at Conte. And I'm not even going by two results. I'm just going by the style of play. Everyone seems happy. There seems to be a buzz around the ground again. It's the complete opposite to last year. International Observer, no need to shout, my friend. I say this again. The last three manager choices were by a long way some of the worst mistakes in our history. Boycotted since Jose, Nuno, and Conte, and can now return to my super Spurs. It just feels nice, doesn't it? It just feels nice waking up, having played a really good game. It helped that we got 3 points. But playing a really good game, some lovely football. Yeah, the first 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Before we look at the player ratings from last night, did anyone see Ange Postecoglou talking to Roy Keane, Andros Townsend, Jamie Redknapp, and the Sky Sports Report presenter? When he actually turned around, and what I loved about him, he said, mate, this is the way I play. This is how I play wherever I go. I try and win. I try and implement a good philosophy of football. This is what I do. And he said, look, the first half an hour, he said, we were nervous. He said, and when you break it down, how Postecoglou did, England just, got the ball clear there. When you break it down, he actually said, thank you to the 2 people that are subscribed. Please keep subscribing. We should get this. Come on, guys and girls. Let's get this to 10,075 by the end of this show in 45 minutes time. The link is in the chat. He said, you've got Destiny Adoji, who's 20. Papa Sarr, who's 20. Yeah. Mickey van der Ven, who's 22. Porro's 23. It's a very young team. There's some young players in there. And, I just think that this all bodes well for the future. I really does think this bodes well for the future. Let's have a look at a couple of super chats and then we'll talk about the team. One from Santu. Big up, Santu. Always been a huge supporter of the channel from day one. So thank you, Santu. Has said, congrats on the 10K. Well deserved. And thank you for always providing quality content. Thank you for the kind words. I'm sure not everyone agrees that it's always quality content, but I do try my best and I will always try and get as many people in the comments involved as possible. So thank you, Santu. I saw an Arsenal fan say something just now, but before we mention that, there is a gentleman back on screen called Hoover99. Hoover, you still haven't moved house?
No, got through a lot of the legal stuff. So, light at the end of the tunnel. God, it's just so stressful. I hate this stuff. Just want to be settled in. Luckily, we've got our Spurs back.
It is lovely, isn't it? Now, do you know what? I posted a few things on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, that sort of thing. And all the fans of the other clubs, as usual, it's only 2 games. You guys are getting carried away. But I don't think, Hoover, they quite understand just how bad it has been for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think they understand that what we saw yesterday is what we want to see, right? So talk me through yesterday. How good did you think we were yesterday after a nervous start?
Well, I'd say that first sort of 25 minutes, half hour, I was thinking this is going to be difficult for him. They're not quite buying into what he wants to do.
Yeah.
But then we got into the game and I thought, United probably edged that first half if we're fair, because they did create more chances at the end of the day. Yeah. Should have stuck some away, but then we had started creating, and I thought half time came too early. I would have. I'm sure he would have liked the lads to have stayed out on there longer because they were just starting to assert themselves.
Yeah, definitely.
But second half, wow, Basuma, Sarr, Maddison. I think we found our midfield 3 there. That was impressive.
Yeah, as we go on, we'll get into the midfield. But yeah, you're bang on that midfield 3, and straight away people started saying, "Oh well, Bentancur might not get in." I think, well, hang on, this is wonderful. This is wonderful to have options. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, look, let's have a look. When the team was announced, hang on, England had just cleared the ball off the line in the World Cup final. Sounds weird saying that, doesn't it? England World Cup final. It's not something that you use in the same sentence normally. Look, when the team was announced, it was Sarr in for Skip, and it was Porro in for Emerson Royale. Lots of people, I did a pre-match show, and a lot of people were saying, oh my God, Porro, God, he can't defend. It's awful. What are we doing? Everyone was more happy about Sarr coming in. What did you make about those two changes into the team?
Well, I've been an advocate for Porro playing all along, because I believe you can teach a talented player to defend, but you can't teach a player to suddenly have creativity, to have vision, to be a good footballer all of a sudden. You can teach him some technical attributes, but nothing else. I think Porro is just a better footballer than Emerson Royale. So I would prefer to see him in that wing-back slot. People say he isn't a wing-back. I think he can grow into it. I think he showed what he could do yesterday. I thought he was pretty good defensively, to be fair. Certainly got a bit of pace about him as well, which helps. And I think when you get your central defence right and that midfield, you've got the likes of Sarr and Bissouma putting themselves about to reinforce anything that's happening at the back there. You can afford the luxury of those wing-backs bombing forward. I'm all for it. Udogie on the other side, I love that bloke as well. He's just doing everything I want him to do. He's just going to get better. He's still finding his way a bit, isn't he?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, first half, I thought, there were a few mistakes, a few misplaced passes. But
sure.
I think what people have got to realise is not every pass in the game is going to be perfect from every player. That you're not going to have 100% possession. You're not going to have 100% retention of the football. But 20 years of age, compare him to what we've seen at left back for the last few years. Davis, Sessegnon. I can't even think who's beaten Reggie. This guy's just a class above, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Kyle Walker himself, he didn't get into the team age 20. He had to out on loan, wasn't it? First of all, and then took his time. And he was he didn't look this good when he was coming in to start with. When he did get his chance, took him quite a while. Kyle Walker, he was a bag of mistakes for a few years. Got a lot of criticism, and then he improved. And so, like you said, you look at age 20 already, and he's already performing like this. Looks comfortable, looks confident, got the pace, got the athleticism. Yeah. And it's just going to get better. He's exciting. This whole team is exciting. That's everything about this. This manager, I've never in my lifetime, I've supported Spurs, 47 years now? And I have never bought into a manager as quickly as I have with this bloke.
With Postecoglou.
I am 100% with everything he says. I hang off every word he says. He's singing to my heart about what I feel about how football should be played, what I want to see at this club. I love it. The biggest problem he's going to have is off the pitch.
Absolutely. Well, look, let's talk about him. But before we do, I just want to say, I can't bring this up, but David Shire, I've just seen in the back studio of my YouTube, has just gifted 5 channel memberships to people in the chat. So David Shire, thank you so much. Here he is. David Shire said, hey, Kuva, and he's just gifted 5 channel memberships. I'll be honest, I probably should know this, and somebody in the chat might know. I don't actually know how they're claimed. But go for it, I guess. I don't know how they're claimed. Somebody who knows better than me in the chat, can you explain how they're claimed and go and claim them? And big up to David Shire, because that's a very, very generous gift. That's out of his own pocket. So thank you so much, David. Other very generous people. Just a girl who loves Spurs, who's been a channel member for just over a month now, has said, Vicario, silence the haters. We're going to get to Vicario. We're going to get to Vicario very, very soon. We are only going to be going till about 10 past 12, people. That is my maximum cutoff because I'm going to a christening. So I must have to be gone by then. But we will get to this, Kate. And thank you so much for your generosity. Someone else who's always very generous, Tigaro, the single parent theory, has said, yesterday, I literally remember you saying, we've kicked off at 2:30 a.m. Then I woke up freezing on my patio couch with news of a 2-0 win. Worth it. Yeah, big up to all the Aussie fans who have to watch us at ridiculous AM. But Tigaro, big up. Thank you for all your support. And you're definitely going to owe the charity of my choice money for Richarlison. Just saying, because he's never getting 20 goals this season. Just so you know. I'm going to have that every show with you now, Tigaro. And then talking of really nice people within the community who does a lot for other people, Perchy TV. and said, you can't play attacking football with these players. Never forget all the people who hung off Conte's every word. Absolutely, Perch, and we will get into this. And Ben Kaufman, who has also been a channelman for 3 months, said, I love to watch some football. Lovely to watch some football. I'm not going to swear because YouTube go on a little bit militant these days with swear words. But thank you so much, Ben. Thank you, Perchy. Thank you to Kate, and thank you to Tigaro Single Parent Theory, and to David Shire as well. Kuva, let's start. First and foremost, the interview after the game with Sky Sports. Ange went over. He just looks like your manager, right? He feels like he's our manager. He talks for us. You know, I understand everything he's saying. I want to believe in him. I just want him to be my dad. You know, I want him to he's just everything that you need from a football manager. And he turned around and he said, they asked him, I'm sure you've seen this and many have seen this. They said, look, was this a prerequisite when the board brought you in that they asked you to play this style of football? And Postecoglou said, nah, mate. You know, the way he says, mate, this is what I do. This is how I play. This is how I've had my success. And he said, look, I believe in this. And he said, I thought we were excellent today, but the first 30 minutes, we were a bit nervous. Young players, we grew into it. But he's bang on, isn't he? This is the football we need at this club. This is what we expect.
Absolutely. Like I was saying last season, it's a spectator sport. Give me spectacle. The bloke does that. We're playing some good stuff. We're going at it. I'm happy. I'm always okay if we lose a game, as long as we've thrown the kitchen sink at the opposition. You know, they've taken a battering and come out victors at the end of it. What I hate is when we sit back and then invite pressure and allow them to play. I mean, let's be the ones on the front foot. I'll tell you what, it's a bit it's almost a bit sick to say this last season, but I'm so looking forward to playing the likes of Man City. I want to see us go to the Etihad on the front foot and have a real go at them. That's going to be the ultimate test of this football this season.
Oh, for sure.
I just cannot wait for it. Players are getting better in a very short space of time as well. I think, who was man of the match yesterday? I mean, for me, Basuma, but if you said Sarr, even you could say Maddison, Romero even. Those players really turned up all over the pitch.
Yeah.
Romero had that discipline that people said he just didn't have. And I thought he was outstanding. He looked like a proper defender yesterday.
Yeah.
VDV at the back there, I think he's settling in. A little bit out of position a couple of times, but that'll come. He's just new to the league. Perhaps the pace of it's a bit of a shock to him as well. I don't know. But he certainly recovered when he did get caught out of position. Like him, bit of pace, hasn't he? There's so many things coming together. And all of this, 2 goals in each game, with a front 3 that we're all going, oh, they're not very good.
Well,
I mean, working pretty well to me.
Look, I mean, we'll get to the forward line. I mean, the fact that we scored 4 goals without our most creative midfielder scoring or any of our forward scoring can only be a good sign. But we're going to talk about that in a bit. Look, let's quickly go over this, right? Vicario. Vicario, I think, has had so much stick in this last month. I don't know what he's actually done wrong. And I thought yesterday he did everything brilliantly. I don't think he put a foot wrong. Some of those saves were absolutely outstanding. I think a few people need to just take a little step back talking badly about this guy. What do you think, Hoover?
Well, I'd said at the time, I'll stick by it. I think it was a huge mistake not getting Raya because he ticked every box. But I did say, Vicario, I don't know enough about him. I'll wait and see what he's like. He looks like a decent goalkeeper. Yesterday, I thought he was outstanding with some of the saves he made. He really looked the part. He's going to improve. He said himself, it takes time to suddenly become this sweeper keeper role that he's going to need to do. Let's see how he does. At the moment, I'm very happy with him. He's all the goals pre-season he conceded, they were like 3 hits within the 6-yard box where you'd expect the striker to score, and yet he got criticised for it. I don't know why. But he was solid yesterday. I like what I was seeing. There's something about him as well. There's that kind of cheeky, innocent look on his face when he does something good. He's like, it needs almost like he needs a bit of approval, and then he's just going to be really enjoying himself. Yeah, I like him. I like him. He's growing on me quickly.
Yeah.
I at the moment, despite what people are saying about the forward line, I don't have any real worries with this team. I feel confident. I can't wait for the next game. Way to Bournemouth, isn't it?
Yeah, way to Bournemouth next Saturday. It's the early kickoff.
Last season, I'd be scared of that kind of game.
Yeah, I agree.
This season, let's have it. Let's take it to them. Smash them off the park in their own place. Yeah, bring them on. It's all coming from this manager. Let's face it.
Yeah,
personality, larger than life personality. It's rubbing off on the players. I think for me, I'll just, when Sarr got substituted, he was absolutely spent. He had put in a real shift.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
you see Big Ange arm around him, talking into his ear, and I was just thinking, I wonder what he's saying there. It'd be really interesting. But I bet it's along the lines of, you did a bonza job for us there, mate.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. And let's be fair. For me, that's the midfield three now for me. But we'll come to that in a minute. I mean, Kuva, we wanted to see last week the partnership between Romero and Van de Ven. Unfortunately, we only got to see it for about 12 minutes because of the concussion. We saw it yesterday alongside Adoji, alongside Porro. And listen, what I would say is you're right. I think definitely the first 30 minutes, and Spain have just taken the lead, by the way, in the World Cup final. Spain have just taken the lead. So, unfortunately, the Lionesses are 1-0 down. Needs to show some character now, girls. This is a big game. Got to show some character. But back to Spurs. They had a lot of chances, Man United. They had a lot of pressure on our penalty area. I thought we defended really well. We rode our luck. Bruno Fernandes missed a couple of chances. Some good saves by Vicario. But all in all, I just felt like Van de Ven and Romero kind of slipped in together as though they'd been playing together for years. Yeah. Adoji seems to have slotted in nicely. And yeah, there were some scary moments, especially in the first half with Porro. But definitely in the second half, Porro got back. Jockeyed was the word Henry was. Jockeyed Rashford away, got the ball, shielded his man. It was a good defensive performance, right?
Really was. I mean, let's face it, it is Man United at the end of the day. They do have players like Bruno Fernandes who can create a bloody good goal scoring.
Yeah.
So, oh, sorry, I used a naughty word.
No, that's all right. No, that one's all right. Someone was on here yesterday, I won't say who, with the effing and I was like, oh my God, like, stop swearing. YouTube love this stuff.
Trouble. It's an emotional game, and when you're enjoying yourself, it comes flying out sometimes, doesn't it?
Of course it does.
Yeah.
We're still talking about swear words.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it too early for that sort of banter? It's 11:30. Sorry.
It's never too early. The evening never stops.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just there's things slotting into place. Lovely. I even made the point of saying yesterday before the match, there's a case of you get an injury or two in midfield. You could even shove Romero into a holding role and bring Sanchez in the back, and I wouldn't be scared of doing that. I think as long as they're there on the pitch, and what does Romero do so well? He really goes aggressively to make the preemptive sort of move. He's proactive rather than reactive with a lot of stuff. Perfect for this, the way we set up. Want to be playing in their half. I think that keeping that pace at the back, like I said, Sanchez coming on, and I liked what I saw against Brentford. He did well. He did a lot of good recovery work when the ball was lost. Players are stepping up. We got Lo Celso looked good in pre-season. Hasn't had a kick yet in the league.
Yeah.
Perhaps he's just chomping at the bit. Can't wait to get on and show what he can do.
Maybe
not a huge positive.
Maybe Cooper, though, someone like Lo Celso might be going. We don't know, right? I mean, I think everyone got very excited because of a couple of good half performances. When I say half, because he only played in half the game against some poor teams and against Barcelona. But maybe Lo Celso's sitting there now thinking, you know what? I need to play week in, week out. Right, exactly. And he'll look at it and go, well, hang on, Bentancur's still got to come back. That's 4 now into 3. I'm there, that's 5. Skippy's there, that's 6. There's a lot of players now vying, and there's no European football. So realistically, you're going to say that midfield 3 should, for me, that should be the starting midfield 3 every game. I I don't want to see him change that. When Bentancur gets back, I think he's got to fight and battle his way into that team, because for me, that midfield three looked excellent. And bearing in mind, they were playing against, let's be fair, as much as I don't think the dynamic worked at Man United, they're playing against Casemiro, who's been one of the best midfielders in the world for the last 10, 15 years. Right? You've got Bruno Fernandes, who, like him, hate him, whatever, I know he's really annoying, has had brilliant figures in the Premier League for the last 3-4 years. And then you've got Mason Mount, who's come through the Chelsea Academy, plays week in, week out for England, and they bossed it. Him, Maddison, Basuma, absolutely. Let's talk about them. Sorry, just before we get to them, Mickey van der Ven, without Romero, Mickey van der Ven looks a real player, doesn't he? Doesn't dive in, stays on his feet, quick, good on the ball, looks a real steal, doesn't it?
Seemed pretty solid in the air as well so far. We thought he wasn't going to be good heading the ball, but he just looks the complete part. We've been missing somebody of that kind of caliber since Jan went. So there we go. I think Jan was a lot quicker when he first arrived, wasn't he? He had a bit of pace about him, but Van der Ven's much faster, I think. Van
der Ven's much faster than I reckon he's probably the quickest centre back in the league. I'm just going to put it out there. Could
be. Yeah. I mean, there's some players like Virgil van Dijk, they're just so big that they eat up the ground anyway when they start running. But he's right up there, isn't he? Such a good weapon to have his pace. If you got it in your back line, then you really can push it forward into the opponent's half a lot of the time. That combination of Vicario learning the sweeper keeper role and the pace in the back line, I think we're looking good. There's less danger to the way we play then. And it sort of negates not having a Kyle Walker that used to do that sort of job for us, or a Danny Rose. They're both rapid and be able to get back quickly. We got that in the central defence now. It's good. Romero's not quite so quick, but he reads the game well.
The first two games I've seen from Romero the opposite of what I was seeing from Romero last year. And long may it continue. And if he turns out to be this great beast of a centre half, I'll turn around and go, do you know what? I was wrong about you. I've got no problem doing that. But just while we're there, sorry, Kuva, I don't like the lies. I'm sure Savva's not a fan of Sarr, some harsh criticism in the past. If you actually listen to what Savva said, how could Savva criticise Sarr? I don't know why I'm talking in the third person. How could I heavily criticise Sarr when he hasn't been given a chance? How many minutes have you seen from Papa Sarr in the last 2 years? Right? This is, all I was saying to people was, listen, this guy's got to get games so we can rate him or stop overrating him. Now he's coming to the team. Long may it continue. But I don't think I've ever said harsh criticism on a player who, I think, how many games did he start last year, Kuva? 2? Wasn't
a lot, was it? No.
2?
That's the trouble we've had with a lot of players in the past as well. Don't really get a chance. I think the fact that he is getting the chance now speaks volumes. He shows where he stands with the manager, doesn't it? And this is the whole. There's always going to be a Pochettino sort of comparison, isn't there? When you got a manager with this attacking style who likes to get young players in, buying into the idea, full of energy, full of running, enthusiasm. It's like this. It's like a ripple effect right the way through the team. There's a belief growing. There's an enjoyment factor. There's the camaraderie's coming together as well. You're starting to see partnerships building. And just cannot stop drooling over that midfield three. I'm sorry, but any one of them, you looked at them, they'd get the ball driving forward with it. My God. And if it was Basuma or Maddison, Sarr, he was like Usain Bolt getting into the opposition box. Well worth his goal.
And there were a couple of times, Kuva, where when we did lose the ball up front and United were going down the channels, he just kind of he came over as though he was like Linford Christie and just from nowhere put in these monster tackles.
That's why I wasn't surprised. Yeah, I wasn't surprised when he came off because he had put in a shift. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely loved what I was seeing. Really did. Been critical of Sonny over the last year and a bit. I don't think he's been doing too well. But I think there were signs there. He was getting back into the saddle a bit for me. He was getting into the box. He was making things happen. Nice little played a killer pass to, I think it might have been a
Doge in the first half.
Yeah, got a shot off anyway. It was starting to happen. I could see how he's fitting in there.
Do you know what? I thought Son in the second half was miles better than the first half. I think in the first half, a couple of good passes, again, wasn't affecting his man. Second half, I thought he came and joined in. Yeah. And I thought that he looked so much better coming and joining in rather than being a wide man that just wants to try and take on his man and can't anymore. What I would say as well, I really enjoyed it, Kuva, when he went through the middle, when Perisic came on, and there was that kind of triangle on that left-hand side of Sonny, Maddison, and Perisic, all linking up, pretty patterns, playing each other through. I would play Son through the middle, and we're going to talk about Son and Richarlison. I would play Son through the middle because I'm going to be honest, Richarlison for me, he works really, really hard, but it felt at times like we were playing with 10 men. It really did feel tough to me.
There's a lot of things I really like about Richarlison, but at the end of the day, you've got to have the end product, haven't you? And he just doesn't. It's not there. For somebody that's Brazil's number 9, his first touch is shocking. It's really bad.
Bad, isn't it?
He wasn't going offside as much as he usually does, but that's something. And I think, to be fair to him, there were chances where we were reining in some shots that the keeper was saving, but he was there for a rebound. You could see he was there in space. He'd made some room. He was waiting to bounce. That's a positive, at least. It's not a sort of outstanding positive, but he was doing the right things. So he's been working hard. It's just not happening for him, is it? Is Son going to have any more luck playing through the middle? I'm not sure at the moment. It's kind of like we've got a problem getting it to that player, whoever's there.
Listen,
I think this is why Kane always flourished, isn't it? Because when he had matches like this, he'd drop deeper, get involved.
He did. But I think what I'm looking at here is I don't care what anyone says. I've never thought Richie's good enough. I didn't want him in the first place. I've not seen anything since he's been here. I don't see anything when he plays for Brazil that makes me go, yeah, you're a good player. He gets a lot of chances. One of them will always go in, but he isn't for me. Now complement this midfield with maybe someone like a Gift Orban. Quick, young, scores goals. It doesn't have to be Gift Orban. It's just the name that we use. Complement this midfield with that type of player and maybe another centre-back for depth. I think we could have a really good season. I think we could have a really, really good season and start challenging the top 4, if I'm brutally honest. That's the fine margins for me.
For me, forget top 4. What's that smell? Oh, it's the silver polish.
Oh, God, here we go. The treble's on.
No, come on.
The treble's on.
Domestic trophies, why not? FA Cup, League Cup, why not? I from what I'm seeing on this team and the fact that, let's face it, we all believe we're going to be improving as well. I mean, FA Cup doesn't even start till January. Let's have a run in one of the cups. We can nick it. Why not? Last season, I would have given us no chance of winning anything. This season, I'm already feeling it. I totally buy into what we're doing.
Listen, I buy into it. There's no reason why we can't win a trophy, but I always caveat because there are so many other clubs that will also say there's no reason why they can't win it. So, but I agree with you. Tells, listen, this is 4 comments in a row now where you're trying to have a dig. Listen, what do you think about your World Cup winning defender now? I think he looked much better yesterday than I saw him last season. One game. Relax, dude. Relax. I've literally just said, keep doing it. Keep putting in those performances. I stand and go, do you know what? Fair play to you. But after one game, you're going to come at me like that? Dude, you got to grow up a tiny little bit, my man. Got to grow up. There you go. Look, he's come back in again. For a guy that can't spell, Tells, you've got to give up, mate. First of all, my name has got 2 V's in it. If you can't spell, maybe go to a channel where they don't mind illiteracy. Sorry, Kuva. I hate this guy. He's an idiot. I hate him. Idiot.
Fair.
Sorry.
Talking of Romero, I mean, my theory with him, and I said it last season, I think the rashness that was coming from him is because he was trying to take it upon himself to make something happening because he didn't believe in the players around him. You're partnering the likes of Eric Dyer. You've got to do something. This season, I think he's taken to his partner, Van der Ven, at the back. And I think he's just thought, this is okay. We'll hold the shape. We'll work as a partnership. Nice and easy. Do the right things. I can bide my time. And he's got that midfield ahead of him working so hard. Easy. He's just looked quality all of a sudden. I believed it was.
It is only one game, though. It is only one game, Cooper. This is the thing.
But I've got to me. It's every meal's a banquet. Every lap.
Yeah, sure. But what I won't have is when everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's quality." It's like, okay, cool. But listen, I can't just write off all the bad performances last year for one good performances. For me, go to Bournemouth, keep another clean sheet. Go to Bournemouth, don't do anything silly. The next game, don't do anything silly. For me, that's what I need to see. Kuva, I think you've heard me say this down the years. Consistency for me is everything.
Yeah,
consistency is everything for players. To put them on this pedestal is consistency. Like you look so far, this midfield, Maddison and Basuma, both games now been excellent. Now go and do it again. Then do it again. Then do it again. I'm not saying every game is going to be amazing, but if you have more consistency than you do poor games, I'm all for that.
Here's the difference for me from this season to last season. Is last season I'm praying maybe they do something. This season I'm expecting it. I really have confidence in this team. Total belief, and I'm loving it. This is what football is for me. It's I just cannot wait for the next game to come along. And damn, no Europe. I would have loved to have midweek games as well.
I would, but at the same time, I do think in the long run, if we can remove those emotional hats of wanting to see more games, I think this is perfect to get this bedded in once a week, keep the players fit. I think what wouldn't have helped is if we were in Europe and we started seeing 4, 5, 6 changes every game, and then you get out of the flow of what's the best 11.
You don't want one of these sort of 3,000-mile round trips to somewhere you never heard of midweek. Yeah, right. It's true, and all coaches say the same thing. They cannot wait for the games to be over so they can get back onto the training pitch. That's where they do their real work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And largely on a match day, a lot of it's out of their hands, isn't it? It can only change a little bit. But yeah, I think you're right. The more time Ange gets with all that group of players on the training pitch, the better we're going to get. And I love the fact he came out with saying he feels there is something about this group of players that's very special. I think he's seeing things, and it's starting to creep out onto the pitch. I think there's a belief amongst the fans as well. I mean, for example, I didn't even want to watch us last season. Absolutely. This season, I cannot get enough. I'm just dying to watch it again. I'm going to rewatch the game later on. Everything about it. It's Spurs is back. This is what I'm talking about when I say Spurs DNA. It's this kind of football. It's take the game to the opposition and attack. Yeah, play football. Yeah. Love it.
Absolutely. And I think one of the key things as well is, listen, I think you and I were two of the guys. You know, there was a lot of people last year that had the same opinion as me and you on Conte, but lots of people didn't. Lots of people were on the go, give him time. You know, if you give him his own players, that's all well and good. But what you're seeing already is, even with players that didn't play well last year, the belief that's been breathed into them. Sarr couldn't get a kick under Antonio Conte. The only time he played was when, I think if you remember, it was when both Bentancur and Basuma were out injured. Basuma hardly got a kick, and when he did, he was told to kind of sit there and just defend. You know, even when you look at the confidence through all of them, it's just soaring. It's just, this is what a man-to-man manager does. And I'm so glad that Conte left, Kuva. I'm so glad that Conte left.
Yeah, same. I mean, I've made it clear from the start I never wanted him in the first place. He's successful in places where he goes, but it's just not the kind of football I want to watch. This is definitely it. Anyway, old news.
No, I know it is, but I'll be honest, I took so much stick, so much hate from people in the chat going, you wanted Conte out, now you've got this third-rate manager, Postecoglou. And I just look at it now and go, he's everything I want in a manager. I don't care that he's not won Champions Leagues or leagues in England. I just look at him and go, yeah, I want to watch my club. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about my club again. I'm coming on stream going, this is brilliant. This is absolutely brilliant. We, it's the smiles, it's the laughter. And people have been responding to some of my videos going, oh, it's good. It's good to see you finally being positive. And I've said the same thing. I'll always be positive when there's something to be positive about. And right now, it's absolutely brilliant. With this in mind, the age-old question comes up, Kuva, with our mate, Mr. Daniel Levy. Lots of people now saying, well, look how good we are already. Imagine what you could do if you just gave Ange maybe 2 extra players that he needs.
Yeah.
But
that's it.
This is Daniel Levy, right? And not one bit of me trusts it to go, he'll definitely furnish him with those 2 players in the next 10, 11 days.
Got to agree. I mean, even if it isn't the sort of, extra central defender or the sort of reinforcements at the back, even if it's not that, if we got in somebody like a Gift Orban, I like that bloke. I think he's one of these naturals. He's just got a knack of finding the net. He knows how to get goals out of things. He's a bit of a poacher. He's got a bit of power, a bit of pace to him, bit of everything. People say, oh, it's playing in a weak league. But if you play in a weak league, you've got to stand out. And he does.
Yeah.
Suarez used to play in a weak league as well. He did all right, didn't he? I think we've got to add something, really, haven't we? I've got to agree. As much as I like Richie, he's just not doing it. I can't. He looks awkward at times. He's really clumsy at times.
I just always feel when the ball goes into him, I always feel it's going to bounce straight back, or his first touch is going to take him wide. And what I've noticed with him in a lot of games, his touch is bad, and what it does is bounces away. Then, because he's got great work rate, he'll go and win it back, and people go, see, he's brilliant. He works hard. Yeah, but hang on. If he had controlled that ball in the first place, he's not having to run around like a headless chicken. He's just, for me at the moment, by the way, there's 666 of you in here, which is a good omen or not. God, that's an old film, isn't it? The old Omen films. But there's now 677 of you in here, but only 262 likes. That is shockingly poor, guys. That is awful. Let's get that to 400 as quickly as possible. Going to go for another 15 minutes. Smash that button. And come on, guys. We're on 10,050. Let's get this to 10,070 in the next 15 minutes. Keep going, guys. And don't forget to join me and the guys at 8 p.m. tonight for the Spurs review. Should be a good one. Got a really good crew for you tonight. So please keep smashing that like button. Kuva, it just feels that out of this whole jigsaw puzzle, he just feels the one that is a square peg in a round hole. It kind of feels like, maybe we'll talk about Kulu in a minute, but I feel like everyone else gets it, is capable of it. It just feels to me like he's the odd one out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you might be right there. As we both pointed out, his first touch has been awful. Even when, people raved about the World Cup. Oh, look at those finishes. Weren't some of those the ones where he miscontrolled it, so you had to do something spectacular? Yeah. I just, he's not good enough, is he? He's just not. He's not talented enough. I think he's got everything else. He's got a bit of physicality, bit of pace to him. He gets in the right places. He works hard. Just not a natural goal scorer, is he?
It's not.
I don't know what he'd do with him.
It's like I want to be better looking than I am, Kuva, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't make myself better looking when I go on a night out. I am. This is how I look. And with Richie, I feel like he can't make himself a better player. I think he can work hard. I think he can listen to instructions, but can he actually execute what is being asked from him?
Hard to say, isn't it? But it is early doors under Ange as well, so perhaps they'll find a way. Perhaps they'll work on it. Like I said, you could see at times he was getting into the space in the box. The ball just didn't get there. It's a knack, isn't it? Players just have a natural sense of being in the right place, right time. You get that with all great goal scorers. Harry Kane's superb at it. Ironically, we lose Kane on the season where I think he could have smashed all of the club records for a single season. I think he would have got tons of goals in this team. But we've got what we've got. So let's see what the rest of the transfer window does. Like you said, I've got no faith in the certain chairman, but you never know. Occasionally he gets things right. Occasionally. So let's hope it's one of those occasions, because if we do get in the extra attacking talent up front, perhaps an extra covering defender, well, not a backup, but somebody that genuinely adds to the first team whenever they're in it, we could be onto something very special just in the very first season. That would be incredible. That would be incredible.
I've said, as long as he creates this philosophy, brings stability. That's what I want at Spurs, stability. Start the season with the same manager. End the season with the same manager that starts it, right? Introduce these players to this way of playing, because it will only get better. But I do want to put an air of caution. For as excited as I am, I think that people have got to realise not every game is going to just be a win. There are going to be games where it doesn't work. It doesn't click for whatever reason. No club goes through the entire season with every game clicking. There are games when Man City sometimes just look not at it. So I don't want Spurs fans, to the moment we lose our first game or draw a game, suddenly get, oh my God, it was just it was a one-off game. Look, Kuva, we've had a really difficult start. Brentford away, who lost 2 games at home all last season.
Yeah.
Basically stuck 10 men behind the ball. And Man United, who, they're not the best team away, but it's still Man United with some very good players in there. All their fans were telling me that their defence was brilliant and that we'd find hard to penetrate it. It's a brilliant start. 4 points from 6, but go and beat Bournemouth. What a start that would be, right? 7 from 9. Go and beat Bournemouth. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Certainly would. Belief will carry on. Confidence breeds confidence, as they say. So get on a run right at the start of the season, set your marker down for the rest of it. Then the challenge is on the players to maintain it. I think Postecoglou, he must be looking at what happened in that game yesterday and be absolutely delighted by it. Because he saw his team under pressure in that first half hour.
Sure.
Deal with it, rode the luck a bit, sure. Some bad finishing from United, absolutely. But the defence stood up otherwise. The goalkeeper did a great job. He was very solid. And then we just responded, didn't we? Grew into the game towards the end of the half. Like I said, I think half-time came too early. We were starting to boss that game in the first half. But then the second half, we just blew them away.
This is a bit harsh, isn't it? This is a bit harsh. I mean, I would say that I thought Richarlison was largely anonymous. For me, I thought Kulu, listen, I'm not his biggest fan. I thought he did well for the goal, but I would say that he had acres of space to run into. For me, still, his all-round in-game play just feels a little bit lackluster. Hopefully that sharpens up. But I did think Sonny was a lot better yesterday, especially second half, as we said. So this is slightly harsh, isn't it, Kuva? Slightly harsh.
Yeah, I think so. But you can understand where it comes from, can't you?
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
It's been a bit frustrating for a while now. So, I agree, though. I think Sonny was much needed improvement in his game, I thought. But it sort of summed up how the team was doing in the second half. He was a little bit off it in the first half. I thought, oh no, here we go again. But he improved. He was getting into dangerous positions, making things happen. But picked up a lovely pass or two. And if it's not working, and this front three is so terrible, and we're scoring 2 goals in each game, I think that's a pretty good sign, isn't it?
Because imagine when it does click. Yeah, I get it, Swanix. I get it. I don't feel the front three is clicking. But I did think that when Son went a bit more centrally and started coming to the left rather than starting from the left and overlapping with Maddison and with Perisic, I thought they played some really good football in tight spaces, some, the kind of triangle passes. Kept laying each other in. And let's be fair, this game shouldn't have been 2-0. We should have we should have scored a couple more. I thought we had with some good chances. So, look, lots of positives. I mean, Vicario was a positive. The defence were really good. The midfield was the shining light. Richarlison replacement, who knows? We could be in for a really, really good season. But it is early days. What we don't want, Kuva, is what we've seen many times at Tottenham Hotspur, is these positive shoots. Then you go to Bournemouth and you lose 3-0, you know, and all of a sudden...
We used to be the poster boys for the phrase false dawn, didn't we?
Yeah.
For many, many seasons. I just don't feel that way at the moment. I've got genuine confidence about this team again. I haven't had that for 5-6 years. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Totally believe in the manager. Players seem to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And big up, David Shire. Just seems like Santa Claus all over the place giving away membership. So thank you very much, David. We are only going to go for another 2 or 3 minutes, if that's all right with you, Kuva. I have got a christening to get to before we do leave in a couple of minutes. Quick, keep smashing the like button. We're on 344. We should easily get that to 400 with 700 of you in here watching. And please, before we go, keep smashing the subscribe button. We're on 10,055. Let's at least get another 5 people and get it to 10,060 before the show finishes. The link is in the chat. Look, all in all, very, very positive. It's the Tottenham we want. It's the Tottenham we've been craving for a very long time. And I do think it would be hard-pressed to find any YouTubers, any bloggers, any Facebook writers, Twitter, to find negatives after yesterday. I think would be really difficult for once.
Oh, I don't know. Where's Scott M? He's usually
yeah. I think guarantee
he would have been pretty. I think he would have been pretty happy, to be fair.
Yeah, no, of course he would. Listen, Scott M's a very passionate Spurs fan, and whilst me and him don't always get on, he is passionate about Spurs. He wants the best. I think most of us will be very happy. Hopefully, there's going to be some harmony for the next week or so, at least in the Tottenham community, and everything is good. Some super chats that I have got to get to before we leave. David Shire again. Big up, super generous of you, has said, wait till Ange brings the jumpers out. Big Ange bringing the jumpers out. Love it. David Shire again has said, get over the hate, guys. Everyone is allowed to have an opinion. That's what makes this great. Big up to you, David. Thank you so much for your generosity today. We have got Tigero, Single Parent Theory, has said, stop being so upbeat. You're negative, remember? Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I'm negative when my manager is Antonio Conte. That's when I'm negative. But big up to you, Tigaro. Thank you very much. Paul Markey has come in and said, Valise is twice the player of Orban. Listen, I'm not even going to...
Let's hope so.
Let's hope he is. I do feel that we've probably... No one's seen enough of either of them to make this judgment. But if it is... great, let's get him in the squad. Maybe we'll see him get a run out against Fulham in the cup off the bench, maybe. Who knows? But big up Paul Markey. And Long Geezy has said, scared of injuries to key players, I have to say. Well, this is where we need to still make use of that transfer window being open. Another centre-back, a centre-forward, and I do feel that we've got a good squad. Good, not great, but I'll caveat all this. Got to see some Deadwood go in the next 10 days, Kuva. Got to, right?
That's going to be the hardest part of the transfer window, isn't it? Because, we said before, you get players like Eric Dyer or players of that ilk, and Ndombele. I mean, they're not playing well enough to get into any big teams, and they're too expensive in terms of wages for smaller teams to get them. So who's going to buy them?
Yeah.
Everton probably skint again, so we can't usually do our usual one and shove them over to them for stupid money.
Absolutely.
I think we were a little bit screwed there.
Yeah, we've really got to get that going. I mean, just quickly, we are going to go. Ali Gold has said that we've got 31 players for 25 squad places. We can only register 17 non-homegrown players, and we have 20. So it looks like there's a lot of work to be done to move players on. Anyway, Kuva, I'm sure you'll join me again next week for a chat in one of the mornings. Thank you for coming on. Please go and subscribe to Free Spurs Boys, Kuva and the Kang. Be much appreciated. Keep subscribing to me, even if I have only got a 6 out of 10 face. I've given myself a 6 out of 10. Maybe you guys might think it's a 5.
So I'll come on to sex things up for you, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. A 6 out of 10. Kuva brings the 12 out of 10, and we meet in the middle at an 8 out of 10 sort of thing. So all is good. Big up to everyone. Please join us tonight. The Spurs review, 8 p.m. It's myself, Football Heritage TV, joined by Perchy from the Perchy TV, Sean from Spurs Talk Show, Haz and Marlon from Southview Coys, and maybe a couple of other guests at some point. Big up. See you tonight, 8 o'clock. Much love. Thank you, Kuva. See you all soon. Take care. Keep subscribing.
Come on, you Spurs.
And come on, you Spurs.